And welcome, excuse me, and welcome to the Sunday morning service at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. My name is Oakley Frost, and I'll be serving as your service associate this morning. This morning is obviously a New Year's Eve service. It's going to be a little special, and so we're going to start off, instead of having an opening video, we're going to welcome ourselves with a rendition of Auld Lang Syne. I printed out all the words, the old original 16th century Scottish words that I'm sure you're all familiar with, and left them at home. But somehow, Don was able to convert them to a PowerPoint, and I think you'll be able to see them on screen. Before we start, that Carol Cole is not with us this morning, but Sue Brandise, who has played with us before, we're delighted to have her back.
Thank you so much.
And she has played with Don many times over the years, including at the Sawdust Festival. So the two of them will be leading us in Auld Lang Syne. Take it away.
The words aren't up yet, so I'm just kind of, here we go. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? Should Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne will take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne, for Auld Lang Syne in stock, and surely I'll be mine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne, for Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. I too have paddled the bird frame morning sun till dawn. What seas between us spray ere rose in Auld Lang Syne, for Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne. We'll take a cup, kindness dear, for Auld Lang Syne.
Thank you. Our guest speaker today is Doug Miller. We're very privileged to have him here on a New Year's Eve service. New Year's Eve is a time of looking forward and looking back. And Doug will help us, as he's uniquely qualified to help us look back over Laguna Beach and the way that it's developed over the last 50 or more years. Doug is a painter, violinist, and photographer. Some of his paintings you can see on the table at the back. He's painted, I think he says, about 20,000 paintings of Laguna Beach. I think he said he has sold about 17,000, so there's only about 3,000 left for you to grab up. So he's been scanning and posting his photos on Facebook, And as he calls it, he's a sort of a contemporary historian of Laguna Beach. He's played, as I say, with Sue at the Sawdust Festival since 1971. And we're very, very honored and privileged to have him with us today. Each Sunday, wherever there is a service held by a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the only symbol of our faith. If you have joined us by Zoom and have a chalice available, we invite you to light it as I light the chalice here at UUFLB. We gather this hour as people of faith with the joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Our Zoom and audio texts today are Don West Jr., Pam Flodman, and Darius Garecki. As I said, we're delighted to have Sue Brandise join us since Carol Cole had to be out of town. I would also like to acknowledge and thank personally on behalf of the congregation, all those others that make these services and the work of this congregation possible, including our board, our worship committee, Paul Bogdan and Candy Strock for preparing fresh refreshments and otherwise making the building ready for us each Sunday. And Paul, among other things, for overseeing rentals on the building and presiding over our Zoom at noon video meetings every Monday. Also, for all of you who assist in helping us feed the homeless at the alternate sleeping location on Laguna Canyon Road, we thank you as well. There are always more opportunities to work together. So if you're looking ways to become involved, let me or any of the other members of the board or Candy know, and we'll be sure to let you know what those opportunities are. If there's anybody here who's new to the community, if you'd like to connect with us after the service, you can be added to our email list and receive advance notices of each service and other upcoming events. Connecting with each other is a way that we build community and we can go out and make a difference in the world. Is there anyone here this morning, either in person or on Zoom, who has not previously introduced yourself and would like to do so? If so, raise your hand and we would like to acknowledge you. Anybody? I'm sorry, your name? AVRA. Well, welcome. Delighted to have you with you. For those of us, or those who are on Zoom, Abra is joining us for the first time this morning. Is there anyone on Zoom that has?
Yep, here. My name is Kayvan.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you.
Throughout the service this morning, if you're here with us in the building, I invite you to come forward and light a candle up at the front in recognition of whatever you're carrying in your heart as you join with us in worship today. Now is the opportunity for us to rise and greet one another. Sue, would you just play a little something?
I'll just say good morning and welcome to everybody who's with us here on Zoom. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Annie.
Hey. Okay, would the unruly crowd please get back? Wait. Okay, it's time for our opening hymn, which is number 348, Guide My Feet.
Doug is going to join me.
If you'd like to stand. The words will be on the screen.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. I don't want to run this race in vain. A little Doug. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. I don't want to run this race in vain.
At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age or gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, your immigration status, or political affiliation. Whatever sincere questions you bring with you today, whatever has brought you here this morning, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings. I think Don has a slide of upcoming events. Is that? I am afraid I can't read it.
Next week is laughter and health as a spiritual act, and it's from Apprentice Robert Gurley to laughter yoga.
Oh,
So that's next week.
okay. Thank you. Let us take a moment to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. For our unison affirmation, I invite you to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. If you're on Zoom, please unmute your microphone so that we can feel the power when we join our voices together. The words of the unison affirmation will be on your screens. Please join with me in reading. Love
is
spirit of
the
this fellowship.
spirit of this fellowship, and
This
service is its law.
is our great
This is
covenant,
our great covenant, to dwell together in
in
peace,
truth and
to
love,
seek the truth in love,
love,
and to help one
one
another.
another.
Our centering thought this morning is celebrate endings. Lockwood. Time and our service to briefly share the important events that have touched our lives in the past. Our joys, when shared, are magnified. And in sharing our sorrows, we provide the support and care that are vital to all of us in community. During this time of sharing our joys and sorrows, we will pause the recording of the service. We will first invite the attendees who in this self-governing and self-sustaining community, we recognize that it is responsibility to do both well. Our fellowship depends on the love and generous contributions from our members. We are empowered by the innumerable gifts of those who join in covenant with us: time, compassion, humor, financial contributions, and all of our gifts generously given are needed for this fellowship for its continued good work in the world. During this time of offering, Paul will pass a basket within the fellowship. The information on your screen, which is also included in the email announcement for each service, also provides additional ways in which you can give, either electronically or by sending a check to the fellowship. Please join us now, standing and forming a circle as you are able, to sing to each other words of sincere gratitude.
From you I receive, to you I
I do.
give, and together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, and together we share, and from this we live.
And now we come to the part of the service where Doug will make his presentation. And I think he and Sue have some music. However you guys work that out before or after. Okay, okay.
Good morning. I'm Douglas Miller, spelled with 3 L's, one in Douglas, 2 in Miller. That's what I tell people when they write a check to me. That way they got it right, you know. Anyway, yes, I've been in Laguna Beach since 1971, though my grandmother and my great aunt lived in Laguna. My great aunt lived on Monterey Drive at Monterey at Hawthorne. She was there. She bought her place in 1920 for $700. Yeah, it's a big place. Oh, you know that painting by, I think it's the Kleisch painting, a real nice painting they had lately. It posted was found at North Laguna. Well, her house is in that picture in the foreground, the White House there, by Mr. Cunius's house next door, which is still, those houses are still there. Though her house is now a 2-story. People bought it, very sweet people bought it. I think their name is Morris. Anyway, but we've been in Laguna here. Becky and I got married at Sawdust Festival in 1979. I met her, her dad was doing films and they needed a band to play a song for a movie, and that was in Corky Carroll's Funk Dog Surf Band with the Corkettes at the time. So Corky found John, found Corky. Anyway, they came together and I met Becky through that and got married about 1.5 years after that. Anyway, that's what happened. And we've had 2 boys and they're grown up now. So anyway, that's been, so we've been married 44 years. Oh, there we are. Hi, Beck. Anyway, so Becky's here attending. That's very sweet. Anyway, I started painting. I was painting murals in the Navy. I got out of the Navy in 71. Went to Christmas happening here in Laguna. I was in Civies and walked out to the canyon, got a ride out the canyon and went to the Christmas happening. And that was one heck of a big deal. It was right after Woodstock. So we had this huge event here and the city fathers got a little upset and scared of it, but it really wasn't. It was very benign. Just people wanted to extend it for 3 days, but that wasn't going to happen anyway. I walked out of that and back to the Navy again, and got out in 71, got my sawdust booth, and I moved into Barbara Stewart's house, and she lent rooms to kids, help them out. And so I stayed there with her for a while, met Becky, and we lived there. And then she got it to rent a house from her and where we live now. We rented the house for a lot of years, and then when she passed away, we were able to buy it. So otherwise, I don't know, we'd go to Wyoming or somewhere like that if we had to. In the meantime, I've taken about 500,000 pictures in film. I was taking pictures every day. I hunted compositions. I just hunted things. In these pictures today, mostly I went more toward the views. Last time I was here, I had a lot of portraits that people didn't know, but I know all these people. I wrote down names. I carried a book. I've got 60 books of people's names from that era. And now I'm at 80 books really, but the books I've wrote down where the one roll of film ended, where another began, and wrote their names down. So you can progress through some of the pictures I've taken. Here's the Laguna Beach swings back in 1974. These are from 1974. Long ago, the swings have disappeared now, and they're and that's Divers Cove. There's a sequence of 3 pictures of Divers Cove silhouette. So these are black and white photographs. and they're all scanned. I went to scan my negatives. There's Main Beach, Laguna, back in 74. There's the old hotel. Back before that, we had the hotel with a sign on top, which is gone now. Some people say, bring the sign back. I love that. But then they made the sign ordinance. You can't put up neon signs in Laguna. You know that story about the KFC. Just keep showing pictures. It's okay. The KFC, yeah, there's Main Beach. That was how beautiful it is. This is the El Toro Road that's been, those trees no longer there. That's all where the toll road is now. And that old sign with the bullet holes in it. Amazing, that was right out there by the road, not far from where it joins the Canyon Road. And this is, of course, Rockpile Beach at Heisler Park, Heisler Point. Mr. Heisler, everybody knows a Heisler, who Bill Heisler was, a developer, but his daughter gave us Heisler Park. That's Trista Terwilliger at Sawdust Festival in 74. She's grown up, of course. There's Barbara Stewart, Secretary of the Green Belt. The Green Belt Committee with Jim Stilley did more for Laguna than anybody probably in this town. They saved all that. Bob Cornelison, the priest from St. Mary's Church at the left on the beach at Emerald Bay, Barbara Stewart, and Pete Wolf in the middle. Yeah, 3 girls on High Drive near Acacia Street. There's me in 1974 at Sawdust. Somebody took my camera and took a shot. I'm glad they did. Yeah, and Ed Van Dusen with Jan Costello. He's wrote the rules of Sawdust. The next picture, though, there's the Doris and Bill Funk are the couple who lent Sawdust their land in the first place. So they gave after the Reject Festival happened, the Rejects, they couldn't get in the Festival of Arts, the folks, so they called themselves the Rejects. So they had a vacant lot up here on Coast Highway, not far from where we're at. There was they had a little festival and called it the Reject Festival. And it became the Sawdust Festival. It was that year in 1965 and 66, they did nothing. In 67, they were on the boardwalk. And then the Funks lent them their land and said, you can put your stuff up here. And they owned an old motel, which was back there where Sawdust was. There were 5 old bungalows, and 2 of them were used as the first restrooms. They hauled them out to the street, cut the roofs off, and put in urinals and toilets. And then that was the first restroom. And 1 other bungalow was used for puppet shows. Yeah, it's a funny bit. There was 2-story buildings, and there was no plywood, there was no drywall or tin roofs at that time. Everything was wood. So there was 1 million people came to Sawdust. This is these pictures are Crescent Bay Point Park, where it is now. This is before the park was there. There's Contino Point in the distance without palm trees on it. Mr. Contino planted all the palm trees, so it became known as Contino Point, of twin points on the map. There's 2 points there with Little Coward's Cove between them. What a beautiful place. But this is on Crescent Point Drive. That's Heisler Park, Monument Point. People that silhouetted. I just had a couple silhouetted. Silhouettes are easy to do really in photography, but then this group of people at the beach, but I always hunted compositions. That's Heisler Park there. This is Dana Harbor. That's Lois Edmondson sitting in the window of the Jolly Roger restaurant. I was playing a gig at that time. They hadn't yet put any buildings over on that side of the harbor, or actually there was hardly any buildings or slips at all. Nothing, it was all brand new. The next one, that's by Victor Hugo's on the highway at rainy day. And there's our swings. Our swings that are no longer there on Main Beach. There's a few good silhouettes of those, beautiful. And the swings were taken out. There's that bent post in them that was bent, the tires, okay. There's Mr. Les J. Petersey. Anyway, he was the store owner at that time, and the theater with The Way We Were. And the rain, that's the same day, the rain on the sidewalk. These are from the same day. It was a rainy day in Laguna. And here's at Acorns Market. You know, Acorns, that's where Whole Foods is now. There's the price of soap, 43 cents, 47 cents. And Julia Child's free book. Yeah, they, you can see that the paper towels at 37 cents. And there's the sailboats off in the rough, soft, choppy seas off Heisler Point. That's Main Beach. It's just some good ones of the beach. Someone planted their umbrella on the beach there, vertical. And that's Fisherman's Cove, the stairs into Fisherman's, the water dripping down from above. Another Main Beach piece. Oh, that's Fisherman's Cove. That's Shaw's Cove. And there's no palm trees at Shaw's. You notice that. It's before the palm trees. And there's, yeah, Shaw's Cove, the sunset. There's Heisler Park, and those palm trees were planted in 1959. I was there when they planted them. They've taken them out of big trucks and put them in. There's a little crook in the, right below the top of the trees, there's a little crook in the, that's when they planted them, and that's how much they'd grown to 1974 at that time. Not that far. Now that's up another 10 feet higher than that, those trees are. Here's a sunset, Main Beach. Yeah, that's Main Beach, Heisler Point. And Heisler Point gazebo. Go past those. Pretty, it's just nice things. Yeah, the clouds reflected into the low tide. There's Fahrenheit 451, the bookstore. It was there for a good long time. Lorraine Zimmerman owned that. Ray Bradbury had a wonderful book signing there. And I got pictures of that at some point. But there's the, the way it was in the front of that building. They moved across the street for a while, but they couldn't pay the rent, so it went. The family store was at 790 Gaviota. That was Eldon Sederholm's place. Yeah, he taught Dmitri Tiomkin's children how to swim. He went into Yosemite. This is the Citizens Town Planning Association, CTPA, with Jim Dilley, Barbara Stewart, and the architect for the Laguna Library in the middle. The architect for that big window on top, which they removed later, but he wanted to get that northern light coming in the library as a big dramatic thing. Their idea was for a big parking garage at Laguna Canyon Road and by City Hall for the city entrance, which didn't happen. Now we've got a city entrance. It's totally different than that. Jim Dilley was there that time. This is election night in Laguna. Bud Kaiser in the middle with, he had his parrot. He'd sit on on Forest Avenue about every day with his bird, and people would come by and make comments of birds. So there's James Dilley in election night. Just happy to have any pictures of James Dilley as a treasure. He ran the bookstore, Dilley's Books, with his wife, Jeanette. Jeanette was yeah, it's funny how they fought. They didn't get along that well. She hated that he had to do all that greenbelt stuff and not pay attention to the bookshop. But after he passed away, she was all praised by people. Oh, you were with Jim Dilley, oh, wonderful. And then she sucked up to that. Oh, yes, Jim was so wonderful. Well, anyway, the story goes on. There's the Weingartens. He's from Bill Thomas Cameras walking up the street near Legion Street. This Dave McMahon, that's on the highway at St. Anne's Drive. There's Forest Avenue and the Eschbach building back there, which is still there. But Mr. Eschbach was the genius of decorative stuff, a flower store. There's Daisy Mae Cole, Daisy Mae Messer is her name, in the wheelchair over at Whole Foods. And there's B Brewer. She was the, B Brewer. She's the checker. It was a checker there. I've got other checkers. There's Forest Avenue. Two ways on Forest Avenue. Remember the old days? And there's Forest Avenue with the cars parked. I'm going both ways with Mariner's Bookstore and the old pharmacy down at the corner. The toy store is in the distance. Main Beach and the lifeguard tower under reconstruction. They took it totally apart and redid it. Now lifeguard tower is over at the right. There's another picture coming up. We'll show it closer up. There's Heisler Park and the lawn bowling wall you can see there, Divers Cove. And this is right above at Myrtle Street right there. There's the houses at Myrtle, between Myrtle and High Drive where it comes to the highway. This is the Village Fair when they were building Village Fair across from Jack in the Box between Oak Street and Brook Street. Tortilla Flats, that's now Mozambique restaurant. There's Bob Hawkins with his guitar in front. There's building the boardwalk. Yeah, so this is all happened in 74. Our boardwalk went in at the time. There's the lifeguard tower under reconstruction. Totally just skin bones. And the last of the swings. There's the last of the swings before they were removed. They had the seats off of them and they sat on the beach for a while and they took them away. And that's Janet Wright. She's in Trotter's Bakery on Forest Avenue. And Trotter's, that's a Corona del Mar. Don't worry about that one. That's a Corona del Mar picture. There's Newport. Everybody got Newport. Yeah, the old, and the ferry. And the ferry coming, and that's Dave McMahon's truck on there. I was waiting for them to come across. Here's the main beach and our storm waves, main beach. And Fisherman's Cove. My dad went fishing on Doghead Point. Doghead Point looks like a dog. That's where the apartment house is now. They shoved all the rocks over there. What's that next one? Oh yeah, that's Poplar Street. Looking down Poplar Street, telephoto. And the Arcades, Mr. Arcady and the Stoyanovsky couple. They hugged around together as a couple to the end of their lives. They both lived almost 100 years old. Mr. and Mrs. I have their name in my head. Arcady was his first name. They were Russian and they lived on High Drive. But they walked every day. They would walk down to Heisler Park or Main Beach every day. There's Visions at Clio Street and the highway, Visions. And that's Denny's restaurant to the left. Too bad it's hard to see here. That the Denny's restaurant, that was soon be gone. This is the Laguna Greenbelt areas that are now occupied by houses. There's cows in this picture. Yeah, there's Main Beach as it was when they first put it in. There's Main Beach from Heisler. Okay, there's Heisler Park, where the whale is now, where the whale sculpture is in the background there. That's by the restrooms. There's Bud Kaiser and the kids on Forest Avenue. His bench he sat on every day. And that should be in the next shot. That's Bud Kaiser. Yeah, he was one of the characters. There were several characters on Forest Avenue that everybody knew, but Bud was one of them. He was a nice guy. Carol Wazorek, she was a mail delivery girl on Forest Avenue. And there's the Laguna Village, where we have all those little shops down up there by Legion Street. Those trees are now gone. And most of that's just not there. Chicken Littles, I've got that, but it's not in these. I've got Chicken Littles in Portman across the street. There's Oak Street. And there's the Krishnas going down the beach. Tell me when we've done enough of this, because it goes on. That's the highway near Legion Street, and people walking by. There's the Krishnas, who didn't have an order. Mayor Roy Holm there, George Fowler. Anyway, these were the city inspector looking at the boardwalk when they're finishing the boardwalk. And then there's Laguna Village, Village Fair as it was later, when after getting near construction, the mid-construction section of it. I went and shot pictures of that thing about every couple of weeks as it got done. Here's a guy that was down on the street. I think that's what would be, I shouldn't have banged that. This is, I think it's Oak Street. There's, that's at Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, the Canton Wines. There's Main Beach and the tower and some of the equipment that was down for the kids to play on at Main Beach for a while. That was very short-lived there. Then they replaced those things with something else. Here's a dedication of Main Beach Park. That's Roy Holm. And this is the city council with Mayor Vetter over at the right. He was the old mayor of Laguna during that's 50s. And Carl Johnson and Charlton Boyd and Phyllis Sweeney, our best city council we had. That's considered by many to be that. Barbara Stewart, because they were not in it for the money. We have this, they weren't in it to invest and build houses. They were there for the sake of the city. That's why they have such a good council for us. And supported the Greenbelt too, which was such a good thing because that needed that support. So we saved the hills from being developed above us. We would have had, they wanted to extend Poplar Street as an extension into the Greenbelt so it could develop all the hills on top of Laguna up here. And so we got hiking trails instead. It's a true miracle. This is the El Toro roads. And before the El Toro road, you can go through these. This is the Sycamore Hills. This is where the toll road is now. Toll road would be to the right. And Sycamore Hills is still there. That's where the Christmas happening in 1970 was, right there. And there's stuff buried in there by bulldozer. There's artifacts out there. Gee, that's for the toll road. This is Laguna Canyon Road on the old trees that are, this is the section, yeah, I'll go to the next one. There is Laguna Canyon Road as it was, no longer goes there. And that's the Laguna Lake, the small lake. There's larger lakes, the other one they named for Barbara Stewart, Barbara Lake. She left $500,000 to the Conservancy. So they said, they named a little piece of road for her that was about, 200 feet long, and said, that's a nice road. They had a ribbon cutting and Barbara was there. And then they discovered that she'd left a check for $500,000 to them. And they said, well, what else can we name for her? So they named the lake Barbara Lake. They couldn't name it Barbara Rabinowitz Lake. Rabinowitz was married name, and Barbara Stewart, not quite. Didn't work. So it's just Barbara Lake, or Barbara's Lake, as they call it. So this is Laguna Canyon Road as it was. And so that's all gone now. Laguna, Leisure Worlds would be over the hill to the left of these. Yeah, to the right in this case. Yeah, that's the old trees. And that's, yeah, you can still see the hills at least are not developed there, which is good. But this is in the area where it's getting developed out toward the freeway in this section. That's on El Toro Road. This is where it's all houses now. Builder's Emporium is over the hill to the left, and down to Cedar Creek. Oh no, it's Aliso Creek Road. There's the electric towers by Aliso Creek Road there. This is an old cattle pen, cattle ramp to load cattle onto trucks at that point. That's long gone. And across the road from that was an old windmill and a water tank. That's all part of Leisure World in that section now. So this has all been developed. Yeah, look at this is just nothing but the houses of Catherine, what's her name, who had scored $1 zillion building all those cardboard houses. That's Leisure World right there, the edge of it at that time, right there. And that was what they had to give up, concede to getting the Greenbelt, the Dilley Preserve at that point right there. So the Dilley Preserve takes up this area here, but the toll road took in a big section of that. So this is, yeah, these are along the Canyon Road. The fence that's there, that wonderful fence along the El Toro Road. Now it's a drainage ditch, creek bed with a lot of willow trees now. So it's all covered up, and then there's houses beyond that. That's looking down toward the preserved section of El Toro Road, and it's come into town. So this is preserved areas. That's good. We got that. That's where the toll road goes through this section in here. Yeah, so there's toll road areas. And that's, you used to know El Toro Road as you come into Laguna right there. The phone poles were chopped off. They're different than they were at that time. They took off the two top rungs of the phone poles. I noticed things like that. Here's the lone pine at the corner, the lone pine tree at El Toro Road and Laguna Canyon Road. It's gone. And Laguna Canyon Road toward the Big Bend. Laguna Canyon Road looking outwards. And there's Laguna Canyon Road by the animal shelter now. That was there, not there then at that time. This Big Bend, there's the Big Bend across there. Now there's a lot of trees right in that area. This is Laguna Beach Free Poet Society with Marta Mitrovich and Mark Turnbull and there's Dolly Latronic and Marta Mitrovich, Mark Turnbull on the right. And I'm due the old fella, he was, yeah. Anyway, Marta put so much time into getting everyone to go to the Free Poets. You would love the Free Poets. They had the library every week. I think on Fridays. And we go on the main beach. There's, oh yes, Our Time, Nostalgic Love, the theater. Yes. that, and there's Nick Hernandez playing volleyball at St. Anne's Beach. Nick is a sculptor now. There's Betsy Reinhold at left, Betsy Reinhold at St. Anne's, and then we got Main Beach again, and that's good for now. You want to see more, or you tell me when you want to end this. That's what it's fun to do this. I'm having a good time. Is everybody? You'd like to see some more? Well, this is fun. This is hunting up pictures. People sitting on the boardwalk on a crowded day with their legs sticking over. This next is the Sting. Yeah, there's the Sting. I had fun shooting pictures of the theater with see what was around it. This had the Sting, so found things that were stinging. And this, my favorite one was the couple, the Sting, yeah. But the one before it was the one of the, that one of the two women sunbathing under the Sting. Yeah, definitely getting a sunburn. And there's two guys in their bikes. And so, yeah, this is what was going on. That's all from basically that same day. This is, there's Sleepy Hollow by the, looking at the Holiday Inn at the right, and Jack in the Box, not Jack, no, the other one. That's the Taco Bell, that's right. That's Sleepy Hollow Lane at the right, going to the Beach House restaurant. You're looking down into Sleepy Hollow from the Legion Street there. Yeah, Legion Street. That was on a bus. There are some hippies on a bus. That's Lorena Kell now, married Dick Kell. She was watching, some guy was trying my violin. There's El Camino del Mar at Catalina Street. There's St. Francis Church on Park Avenue. Of course, there's Park Avenue right there. Candy Chu. You have a name like Candy Chu. She made clothes at Sawdust Festival. And there's Daisy Mae Messer. This is fun. There's Daisy Mae. This next shot is Daisy Mae when somebody didn't give her didn't buy her rose or something from her. She gives a face. Daisy was, yeah, Daisy stuck in that wheelchair almost all her life out at Woodland Drive. And she'd go and downtown and get roses and sell them. Then, oh, that's neat. There's Danita Lloyd. She just passed away this year. Danita Lloyd at the left with her boyfriend, Maurice, and you have her sister, Debbie Lloyd at right, with her boyfriend became her husband at the right. And yeah, and things moved on. This is Gracie Butts at Trotter's Restaurant. She was the worker at Trotter's. Everybody forgets her. This fella, Hobbs, Chuck Hobbs, Diane, oh, what's that? Diane Chapman. She had more freckles on her. She just made a wonderful picture of freckles. Yes, Woody Young and yeah, Celeste Young and the other ones. Oh, and there's here we are, member of our church right there. That's Eileen Goodson. Yeah, bless Eileen. She had to move eventually out to Riverside. That's her son. There's her son. Not that one. That's her kid. That's Alan Goodson. He was a wonderful. In plays. He was a real great actor. Fine. Acorns Market, we know, with Tex on there. Notion Avenue by where the lumberyard was. What? Oh yeah, that's the Sawdust Festival from the hill, looking down on it from across the road. Yeah, and you know what happened right there? Nixon quit. So this was 74. It's really amazing. Take a picture of a headline. It says a lot now. And there's, I've got to show you this is Main Beach. Okay, we've done pretty well, I think so. Delightful. Thank you very much. That wraps that up. Let's play some music and do some wonderful things here. Yeah, I had 10 years of lessons with my violin teacher, Merwin Tucker, and I got to play, and it was a really beautiful thing. Here we go.
Thank you, Doug.
Hi, Oakley.
Yeah, Doug, you reminded me, talking about Phyllis Sweeney, and she was indeed mayor of probably one of the finest city councils we've had. They stopped the construction or potential construction of high rises along the boardwalk at Main Beach. And at one point here in our congregation, we had 3 women who were all mayors, present or past. Phyllis Sweeney was one, Lita Lenny was, and there was it must have been 4 then, because there was another one. Yeah, we were pretty, yeah, quite a thing. The other thing I wanted to mention, the violin that Doug is playing was, he's had a long-term relationship with this fellowship, was given to you by Dave Rosen. And David Rosen, you know, he and Eva were long-term members. And I think David painted, I think all, if not at least some or all of the paintings in the back of the fellowship hall here. So we've got quite a connection. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Doug. The closing hymn will be number 118, This Little Light of Mine.
You ready? Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's have Doug play for a second. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's do this little light last time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts until we are together again. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may become true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. Now, let us sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Will we gather in a circle for this?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you form a circle, please, sing to each other.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Happy New Year.
Thank you all.
And I think Doug will be available if anybody would like to talk to him for a few minutes, and perhaps on Zoom, if anybody wants to say.